Hello and welcome to BuildTober Day 7. We've got 2 more days after this, and then we're all completely done. How exciting is that? What that means for us now, though, is that there are only 2 random prompts inside of this dropper. Once I get the prompt for today, we immediately know the prompt for next time, and then we know the prompt for the one after that, because it is that little disc you see on the right that says Halloween. There's no surprise. You should know what these prompts inside are. Or if you don't, they're very easy to find out going to a past video. But I did reveal all of these prompts at the beginning, and I can tell you that today, there's a 50-50 chance between getting bats or a nightmare. So why don't we roll those dice? And we've got nightmare. Now, I could go about this a variety of different ways. I could just go with the theme nightmare, in the sense that I build something horrible, evil looking, something someone might consider a nightmare. Or I could go more personal. I've often had a lot of nightmares, so I could build something out of that. I'm not sure I could really encapsulate my nightmares in a space so small, though. I just started hearing rain outside, and now I'm inspired to change the weather to rain and make that dream. The only problem was, it's a dream from when I was 4 years old. A nightmare, more aptly would describe it. And it's hard to remember things that you didn't dream of when you were 4, much less the fictional creations of your mind when you are tired. But I have hope. Without further ado, let's take this thought and turn it into a nightmare. Alright, so here we are in the middle of the night. The storm is raging, and we're going to take a look at Nightmare. Now, let me give you a little background on this. This is a nightmare I had when I was 4. As I've said, it was a dream that took place in my real life. By this I mean, you know that whole trope where people wake up in TV and they wake up in their house and then they don't realize it's a dream? It was one of those. So this is my childhood home. I know, it's quite small. It was small. But I had to put those around. I didn't want the thunder accidentally hitting my house or something. But the thunder is a whole part of it. Kinda need the thunder for the vibe. I hope it's not too loud. I tried to turn down the weather, but I still wanted to be able to hear it. Unfortunately, it was actually quite loud, so when I turn down the weather, the rain might not be able to be heard, but the thunder still might be too loud. I don't know. We'll see in the end. I'm proud of these trees. Can't really see it in the dark, but they're rather nice trees. An unfortunate thing about this is I originally had light gray window panes, but I had to change them to original window panes because you can't see rain through colored paint, which is a little bit annoying, but it's fine. There's a lot of red in this one as well. I just felt like it sort of fit the discomfort vibes. It's like slight splotches of red. But you've already seen the entrance. The inside, you know there's this guy here. And then I've built a kitchen. I believe in my original house the bathroom would have been right here. But I'm very limited on space. The bedroom would have obviously been a little bit bigger as there were 4 beds. I believe it was 1, 2, 3 beds. There wasn't actually a bunk bed, and then there was a bed over here. And the door was kinda in the center. But it's quite difficult to get accuracy in Minecraft when you have to set everything in blocks, specified spots. You know, it's kinda like sticking to a grid. You don't have to stick to a grid in real life. This is my parents' bedroom at the time. And although this isn't very scary, it does encapsulate the nightmare I had, which I will go through. Since this is the bedroom, I made this bed red just to contrast with the other beds, and also to connect to the outside of the nightmare. But what happened was, I woke up in bed. When I woke up, I was still dreaming. And it was raining, pouring, thundering. I heard a loud crash at the front door. I look out my window and I see the tree that always scratches at the window, making little tap tap sounds. And I roll over in bed and I hear the rain pouring through the front door as there's more banging. And so I came over, I looked left, and there was a guy standing at the front door as rain poured in. Don't know who he was. I don't think I imagined any specific person, just someone. And I was absolutely terrified. Mind you, I was like 4 years old. So I turned into my parents' bedroom, closed the door, and started shouting for them to wake up. And then they didn't wake up, because no matter how hard I screamed, no sound was made. And then at the end of the nightmare, I look over to the door and it's open, and he's standing there. And that's when the dream ended. And then when I woke up, it was raining. And I looked out the window, and there was the tree cracking against my glass. And it frightened me, because I couldn't tell if I was awake or not. A touch I actually found quite neat that I figured out by doing that building is I wanted it to be rather dark, but I still wanted it to be like lit up enough. Because you know how if your house is pitch black, but you have like electronics plugged in, you'll see like little bits of light from maybe the TV has a light that turns red when it's off and blue when it's on, or vice versa. Maybe you just leave the TV on. Maybe there's a night light. Usually there's some sort of electronic that's shining some sort of light. At least for me. I find it's much darker when the power's out, even if all the lights are off when the power's on. It's because all those little tiny bits of electronics are no longer shining lights when they usually do. Even if it's just the street light outside your house that's shining through the window. If that were to go out with the power, maybe it's a city thing and not just a personal little house thing. if the street lamp were to go out with the power, it would be much, much darker than if you just had all your lights off. So I wanted a little bit of shine, but not enough to be lit up. Just enough to create that sort of glow in the night from the electronics and stuff. But I hope it was somewhat intriguing, and you've come to like what I've created from this prompt. I put a little happy-gast baby that isn't very happy up here, just to sort of create an atmosphere. I felt like it was sort of like a plushie. It's cute. I put it up there. I still haven't done anything with the happy-gast in any actual world, so that's my first time even holding a happy-gast. But that is it. I feel like I say this every single time, but this build is rather simple. The difference with the simplicity in this build and the simplicity in some of the other builds, though, is the reason this is simple is simply because that's how it was. This is supposed to be a little bit accurate to real life, so I wasn't gonna embellish it with statues or graveyards, because they didn't exist. I will say that I just realized I originally wanted to put a picnic table here, because my childhood home had a picnic table there. But I forgot. So there's no picnic table. It's too late now. But I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again.